Right, so today I'm going to make another fake band record cover since I enjoyed doing the last one so much, and this one I'm going to go a bit more, across out of the way, and I'm going to do try and do a back cover as well. So I even come up with a bunch of fake song names titles. So I've got my elements here, apart from the main one, which is the size of it. The background, the size is going to be a 12-inch record. So again, so let's make that 12 inches. So the first thing I'm going to put on here is the background. That's not the bit I needed to pull out. It's paper texture from Social Living's free pack. What I'm going to do here though is I'm going to that's the actual background. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another duplicate layer of it, which is not completely the same opacity. And now I'm going to move it a bit, make it bigger so it looks a bit weird. The opacity is still a little too much, so right, so there's that. Now I'm going to put this to one side for a moment, as much as I can with I don't know why this went that way now. So put that back to 100. See if it's still done it on there. Nope, it's still like that. So this is the man I'm going to be using as part of the main part of the image. So what I have in mind here is I'm going to change the size, make sure the size is all okay first, which it actually is, and I'm going to make the canvas a bit taller from the top. So I can do this next bit in, which is I'm going to need the propeller from this hat. And I had a right swine every time trying to find an image of a propeller like this that looks halfway decent. So I can paste that in there, and alright, so let's see why that's going into the image there. So let's get rid of that. Let's move this along a bit. Again, so let's zoom in and see why this is doing this. What bit is too light for it to... Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to... So it could be this bit here. Get rid of that, and now we'll see if it still does that. It doesn't appear to. So let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Cool. So Now let's see about the rest of the image. Yep. So I shall now make this a little smaller because it needs to be a bit smaller to fit in. And then let's see how well that kind of fits in there. The idea is I'm going to have a guy with a propeller for a head. The original idea was I wanted to have someone biting a propeller, but I couldn't find the right image. However, it's a little too grayscale. I want it to be as stark as this, so I'm going to adjust it and desaturate it, make it black and white, and use some curves to make it appear more stark. That's too much that way. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to put a bit of a stroke around it. And that's too many pixels. So again, with the curves, I'm going to see what it looks like the other way around as well. So I'm going to transform it and flip it horizontally. It's the wrong way. So try again. Transform, flip vertically. No, I did that. I did it vertically first time by accident. That's it. No, that doesn't look right either. This looks better. So what I'm going to do is put that in there like that, and see there's a little bit of white there I still need to get rid of. Right. So now I want this stalk of that to go all the way down. I'm not quite sure about these edges as well. Right, so that's that done there. So zoom in a little bit more so I can get the bit around the tie. If I want to really perfectly find out how I'm going to need to cut, I will just reduce the opacity temporarily. And then now I can bring it back up to normal. And there we go. I'll do a quick cut around here where it's looking a bit rough. That's gone wrong. Damn it. I'll cut a little bit out there. Just want to take just the furry bits off the edges quickly. Just take some of those off. And it looks worse right now while I've zoomed in. Once it's zoomed out, it won't look quite as bad. So take a bit away from here. some all the way here. Right, that's off. So, propeller's okay. I'll try inverting it actually. I think having it mostly black might actually work, I think. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Personally think that works better. Right, so there's still a bit of fairing to get rid of. So I like. That's the only thing I can think of to call it right now. Just so it doesn't look quite so amateurish. Right, so that'll be that there. Now I'm wondering if I can put his legs a bit closer together. So I'm going to there you go. I can always make it smaller later. So crop it a bit, so I'll see what I can do by putting firstly his legs a bit closer together. Oops, the wrong layer. So if I put those in closer like that, move one leg in, they're a bit closer together. And that is important because that's how I envision it. And what I want to do now is have his toes, whoops, pointing down. Because that's what I had in mind. For the original image. And then what I can do is I can just ditch that bit. Firstly, ditch that bit that's sticking out, and then see if I can and fill that in. Yeah, and then I'll point the other toe. Let's hope this works. Oh, and I'll elongate this other one a bit because it seems a bit stubby. And if I do this here, don't worry about it sticking out a bit there. I'm going to cut the other bits out. Just as it is right now, the legs might seem a bit fat. So I'll remove this bit that's sticking out. Right, so I'm going to quickly save this as a PNG and call it Propeller Man, and that's one element of it. Right, so now that I have all that, I am going to open the Propeller Man, one that's actually called Propeller Man. It's not what this is. It's important that I just saved this on its own, but it's going to be used as more for different elements. I'll get rid of that, I don't need it anymore. Now let us see how well this is going to go on here. Great, because this is how I want it. I'm going to keep him though, because he will be necessary later. Then bring him on sort of on his own for a bit. So this one will be smaller. And there's going to be a whole load of these in the background. Oops. A fat Propeller Man. I know that size is actually fine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make the original guy, so I know which that's it, bigger. Just a little bit. There you go. And the other guy, and there's going to be more than one, is going to go behind that layer, but I think the opacity needs to be a little, that's better. Now this one here, as well as it not being behind a semi-transparent layer, I'm going to need something about him that's going to stick out a bit more. So what I'm going to do, make that shape, do a layer beneath it, and then I will fill in. There you go. So his shirt being white and filled in will help make it look a bit more distinctive. And let's merge down. So they're all together. Right, so this one here, duplicate layer, duplicate layer. But I don't need to keep him anymore because I can now just, I don't need that tool. No, I did that. I can now just, God damn it. Move this guy around. So I wonder if I can duplicate layers. Excellent. So that's good. Now they're all kind of grouped together, but still. Nearly there. because there's so many of them. It's hard to know which is which when you want to try and move them. So that's it. Just didn't want him too much on that guy's head, so I'll just copy him. Put him there. Again, make another one. That must be the front cover so far, and I shall pause and come back in a minute with the details of the text that I'm going to do. Right, so I'm back. So I'm going to be here with the title, the name of the band, the fake band, and the title of the album. So I've decided I'm going to call this band Wormwood, because why not? This isn't the eventual font I'm going to use. That's just the last one I did. So let's see. No, that's not it. I did get a kind of typewriter type font. That's what I'm looking for. Well, looking T. I'm going to typewriter on that. And no, it's not called a typewriter. You'd think it would be. So I'm going to have to find that again, because I'm certainly going to need to use it when it comes to doing the book. So that was a punk one I used for the punk typewriter. That's it. Actually, punk type. That's it. May not be the one I use for the book, but it's absolutely fine for this one. Even the right colour as well. Oh, because it ended up underneath that layer. That works very well. And so the title of the album is Death Trap. So let's type this out. But I don't want the title of the album to be as big as the actual logo. So I'm going to bring this down to 60 points. Pixels per whatever. I think it's points when it's text. And there we go. And that's what the actual front cover of the album looks like. So what I'll do is I will flatten the image, and then what I will do then is save it. I'll just save it where I downloaded it. I'll its eventual place will be done off camera. That's excellent. That's the first bit done. So first side done. Now I'm going to do the second side. So I'm going to undo the flattening of the image, because now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have any of these guys left. So bye bye. And I don't want these bits of text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have, oops, wrong layer, this guy here, but a bit bigger. That's it. It's going to be there. on the back there, and create a new layer for the text box. So that is going to be come to something like that, and I'm going to colour this in black. It's very simple, but it will work. And then I'm going to move this guy so it's a bit more central. Thing is, what I've done with the texture is the two layers it moved in one being opaque because we've got a bit of a blurring effect. Right, so I'm going to do the track list. So I'm going to make the text even smaller, and I'm not going to use the same font, but I'll see what the other punk one looks like. And of course I've got to make the text white, not grey, but white. So we have here, and the text is still, I'm going to show it's behind the, I don't know why it went to clone stamp. What I'll do, I edit the type, and make the text a little bigger. That's better. So it's got that, still got that punk vibe to it. That is ideal for. Oops, don't want that. So, but it's just slightly different from what's on the front. I'm still going to use a different one, a cleaner looking one for what I'm going to do with the book. It's just, but it's going to be a typewritery type font, and it's playing up a bit. So I think I'll have to do something where I press FN and enter. That's it. It sometimes plays up like this. So let's see what's on side one. This is almost done. So it's playing. It sometimes does this thing where to do press and do a new line, I press FN and enter at the same time. So this is going to be a punk band because they're the kind of bands that would use this kind of artwork more often. What's wrong with my spelling today? That still doesn't look right. I'm going to have to look this up. I'm usually very good at spelling, so I don't know what's happened here. It's one of those weird words. That's it. I've got it now. That's why it looked weird. Deterrence fails. Oh, I've done it again. Keep doing it. Of course, if any not even any bands are actually watching this, I am of course very happy for people to use my artwork for for real. And also, I can probably come up with something like this for yours. It's like very late at night while I'm doing this. Everything's going silly. Right, so getting back to this, and to be lazy and save myself from typing, I'll cut and paste that and just change the side to 2. Again, 30 points. So let's type in the last song titles. I made a conscious decision to make the title track of it be the first song on side 2. Don't know why, it just seems right to do that. So usually a band would have like the title track be on the first side. However, thought I would buck tradition. It's something I like to do. The last song. So this is a band that if they are a punk band, but they wouldn't have the songs too short. So partly because I just couldn't think of any, didn't want to think of any more tracks. And so I'm going to give a songwriting credit here for the all music and by AI Slop, if you appreciate the joke there. So there's kind of a basic layout in the regard for the what's written on the back side for the title tracks, because usually down there for a real record they would have the label name, the publishing, but I didn't think of all that. In fact, I want to try something with the background. And I want it to be a bit more. I'll try it with 80%. I want you to be able to see through it a bit, but not too much. Yeah, that's good. So, that's an image. So let's have a look what these actually then look like together. So that's the front. And that's gone a bit wrong. Presentation gone at the front. It's the back. So I wanted to repeat an element of what's on the front for stylistic reasons. So this is what I've made. I might try and do a fiddle out of going through the history and see if I can actually do a version that doesn't have this text on. In the unlikely event that someone does actually want to use this for a cover, an actual cover. So let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. My description has my link tree in it, which has my merch links and my socials. And I shall speak to you soon. Thank you.